Hi Pisces, welcome to my channel. I'm here to do your general love reading from August 5th through the 20th of this month. Please like and share and subscribe. I love the comments. Thank you all so much for the comments, and I try to interact with you as much as possible. I appreciate everybody's patience. My little one's going to be leaving here pretty soon, and so I've been trying to spend a lot of time with him before he goes, but I just wanted to be able to get this out to you too, because I know that you've been waiting for it. So thank you so much for that. If you'd like a personal reading, go ahead and look in the description box underneath. It has my email address and then also the prices. It's $20 for a 20-minute reading, which is more along the lines of 30 minutes because I talk a lot. And then the 30-minute readings are $30, and again, those are like 30 to 60 minutes because I talk a lot. So if this doesn't resonate with you, please be sure to check your moon and rising sign, and then also your Venus sign and the other person's Mars sign. The moon sign is kind of like the inner you. The rising sign is like the mask that you wear or your game face that the world sees. And then your Venus sign is how you love, and the Mars sign of the other person is what attracts them or what draws them in. So those are just kind of to be aware of what those are. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. The first card that I pulled for you, Pisces, is Ace of Cups. So this is definitely your energy. This is a new beginning in love, pretty much. So I don't know if some of you may be reconciling with somebody. Some of you may be trying to, maybe some of you are taking a step to making a profession of love to somebody. You may be talking about, you might, this is a potential card. As an ace, it's the potential. So I feel like this is a lot of brimming emotion, or a lot of strong brimming feelings of love that you have that maybe you haven't acted on yet, or somebody hasn't acted on. But I feel like this is love coming in and a new beginning in love for, like I said, those who may be reconciling. That's what this is. Or it could be that a new love is coming in for you too. Could be another water sign. But this ace is definitely like, it's definitely that the emotions are there. You really can't ignore that the emotions are there. So you might be feeling extra emotional, but I feel like that's love kind of emotional, not overly emotional like you're crying all the time or anything like that. So this ace definitely indicates like a new beginning, as far as maybe you have a recognition that I haven't felt this way in so long, or like I haven't felt this way in a long time. That's kind of what this ace is saying to me right now. The next card that I have for you, again, is you. So it's King of Cups. This is you being in your feelings. This is you definitely, it's kind of like you, I feel like next to this Ace of Cups energy, it's almost like you go from 0 to 60. There's no page, there's no night. It just goes straight from this potential card to full-on fruition. So I feel like this is a whole lot of love messages going on right here. I feel like this is a lot of talking about love, professions of love, love being demonstrated between two people. This is a very, very solid love energy. It's a very solid emotion, kind of like, again, from the I haven't felt like this in a long time to I'm totally in love, like that kind of a feeling. I feel like it goes from 0 to 60. And it could also, again, be that you're dealing with another water sign, so it could be Scorpio, Pisces, or my mind just went blank. Cancer, sorry. It's been a long day. But I feel like this is definitely you being in your element too. So I feel like there's a whole lot of confidence here also. Even though these emotions are very, very strong, you're in your element as far as those emotions go. Like you are feeling confident. You are feeling in control. You're feeling powerful. Or if that's not you, the other person is. But I feel like there's definitely a situation of this new beginning, and like I said, from going from 0 to 60, it's almost like it might be, with this ace here right next to the King of Cups, it's almost like it might be, if there is a reconciliation, it might be that you're kind of going straight from, okay, let's fix things, I want to get back together or whatever, straight to talking about marriage, or straight to talking about big emotions. Or there could be a pouring out of somebody's heart to somebody. So it might be somebody might be pouring their heart out to you, or you might be pouring your heart out to somebody, but I feel like this is a mutual energy for sure. The next card that I have in this lineup is the Devil. I haven't had the Devil pop up a whole lot. Normally with the Devil card, it represents addictions. Now, I know that, and I love you, Pisces, but I know that a lot of you do struggle with addictive behavior or some sort of addiction or obsessive compulsive something. And not necessarily because of your sign so much as I feel like Pisces, again, you're big dreamers of the zodiac, and it's almost like your imagination is so powerful that you can either expound it by substance or alcohol or things like that, or you might need to shut your head up sometimes, or you might be able to you might be able to just not have to feel so much all the time, so you could be numbing some things out. So some of you that struggle with addictions, I feel like this is telling you to really be careful of that because of all this emotion that's running with the Ace and the King of Cups here. This is definitely saying for those of you who do struggle with addictions, and the struggle is real. I'm not even going to pretend that. Like, we've all struggled with addictive behavior of some sort. It doesn't necessarily need to be a substance either. It could be just anything that you're going into overkill with. Anything that's interfering with the way things should normally run. Also, though, on the flip side of that, if it's not an addictive behavior, this Devil card is raw sexual masculinity, but it's just a lot of sex. I feel like with all this love up here, this is like hardcore passion going on too. So it could be that there's a lot of bedroom time. It could be that there's a lot of this like you just gotta go after each other type of energy. So I feel like that could be going on for a lot of you too. Almost to excess, though. That's what this Devil card represents. There's so much fire, there's so much heat, there's so much raw sexual like magnetism going on here. And next to the King, that this is somebody who is authoritative and is somebody who is in control, and this is somebody whose the inhibitions are just absolutely gone. So I feel like it can almost be in excess, like don't start skipping work and stuff so you can meet up and get together and get busy. Like, don't get jiggy with it while you're supposed to be at work or things like that, because I feel like it could be kind of overkill on that too. So just look out for that. It's also Capricorn though. So you could be dealing with a Capricorn, and the two of you could just be really, really, really passionate and loving this new beginning too for you. The next card that I have for you though is the Five of Cups. And I feel like in this position where this Five of Cups is, it is a traditional, I feel like it's the traditional Five of Cups where it's like emotional letdown or disillusionment or disappointment of some sort. And that could just be it could just be that this Ace, right, with this King and this Devil energy may just be way too much. You know, it's a lot to take in all at one time. Those are all pretty strong energies going on. So you could be like totally in your feelings here, totally feeling out of control about certain things here, or feeling like you're being controlled by something in this position here. So these three all together can be very, very overwhelming too as far as your emotions go, and you might come crashing down a little bit. Also, if you are dealing with a Capricorn or maybe somebody who does struggle with addictions, it could be that this emotion here, this new beginning and this emotion from the King of Cups and this love that's being professed, it could be that time period is really great and wonderful, and then the beast kind of rears its ugly head. If you're dealing with somebody who has fear issues as far as the relationship goes, or has problems with substance, or has problems with some sort of addictive behavior, it could be that that's what this Five of Cups is about. They may be falling back into old patterns, and you're getting really disappointed or disillusioned because here we go again, and I thought things were going so great. We had this new beginning, and now the Devil rears his ugly head, and things are getting shaky again, or, you know, I can't believe this is happening again type of a feeling. That's kind of what I'm getting from the Five of Cups. With the Five of Cups directly under the Ace of Cups, I feel like in this particular position, something triggers this where you're feeling disappointed or sad or hurt. And it could be too with this devil energy that somebody is almost that they go from this huge love emotional pour out to straight up like something is way more important than you to them, or some kind of there's something that's interfering with your position in their life where their priorities is all effed up, I feel like, in this position after this devil. And you're feeling that because you're like, what just happened? Like, we were getting so close, things were going so well, and then all of a sudden, you like, what, you can't return my text, you can't, blah, blah. Something along those lines where it's kind of like you feel like you put on the back burner now, and that's not cool. Like, that's not cool. The next card that I have for you is the Nine of Swords. So this Nine of Swords is definitely a lot of thinking, and it's a lot of stress. Like, it's a heavy stress, almost to the point of a mental breakdown, because, and underneath this King of Cups, I feel like this is coming from, again, that feeling of what just happened. Like, how are we in this position now when we were just so happy, things were just so good? Or this is you staying up at night worried about this devil card, worried about this other person, worried about what they're doing, or whether they're falling back into some old destructive patterns, or you could be really worried about this other person, or you could be worried about the relationship in general. It could be that you are sitting there trying to figure out how I ended up in this position again. How did I end up in this position again? Why, why does this keep happening type of a thing? And it could be simple as the devil card can also represent a huge blowout between the two of you. You may have a huge blowout, or if it is the case of, a whole lot of sexual energy, and then the Five of Cups comes along, it could be like you go from, one side of the pendulum to the other. Like, there's a whole bunch of passion, a whole bunch of love, a whole bunch of that going on, and then all of a sudden, almost nothing. Like, and you're feeling like, like, again, a missed texts or missed calls or things that are going unanswered, and it's really confusing, and that could be stressing you out too, because you're just not understanding what's going on with the other person. Or vice versa. This could be one to the other. So I feel like this Nine of Swords card, though, is definitely somebody being, sleepless nights, a lot on their mind. It's a whole lot of stress. And then the last card that I have for you is the Page of Swords. So this Page of Swords is kind of a bickering energy, or it's along the lines of somebody who is almost a little too cocky or confident in the direction that they're going. You could be dealing with an air sign, or they could be embodying the air energy where they're kind of, I feel like in this page, because the page is a little bit more of an immature type of an energy, it could be that they are acting kind of like a know-it-all, or there's bickering or fighting or arguing going on about something, and they're kind of acting arrogant about it, or kind of like you could be feeling like they are being arrogant, or they are moving almost recklessly into this direction without listening to any of your input or anything that you have to say. It's kind of like they are just saying that this is the way it's going to be, and deal with it or don't deal with it. So you could be getting that feeling with it directly under the devil. It can also be somebody who is just, again, that kind of like, well, I'm going to do what I want to do. Whether you care, if it bothers you, sorry. Sorry about your feelings if it hurts your feelings, but I'm doing it anyways, or that kind of an energy. The page can also be pretty cutting with their words. And if it's somebody who does deal with addiction, or there is addiction that you might be dealing with, that could be a lot to do with where the cutting remarks come from too, because I feel like when there's addictive behavior involved, this page can be pretty harsh and say things that normally maybe they wouldn't say, but because this behavior or this devil card kind of triggers that in them, it kind of brings out the darker side of the page. I feel like it's going to be some heavy words, but this also could be you asserting yourself. And maybe you're asserting yourself where you're still kind of unsure about the assertion, like you might be saying, I'm not going to put up with this anymore, this isn't okay, or this is what I want. Can you give me what I want, or can you not give me what I want? But in the back of your mind, you're still kind of like, I hope you don't call my bluff on this right now, because I don't know if I can back it up quite yet, or, something along those lines where it may be kind of like, it's still a little bit of an immature energy there. So let's go ahead and clarify some of these. Sorry, this thing popped up on my phone. So I'm going to clarify these real quick and see what we come up with. Please clarify this Ace of Cups for Pisces for love from August 5th to the 20th, 2017. What is this Ace of Cups about here? Please clarify this Ace of Cups card. Why is this Ace of Cups here for love for Pisces from August 5th to the 20th? Whoop. Ace of Cups is clarified by the Page of Cups. Definitely a love message coming in. So either you're going to be approaching someone with love or a message of love, or they're going to be coming to you. But this is definitely love. There's so many cups here. There's a lot of cups in it. That's a lot of concentrated emotion or a lot of concentrated love. So here's the page though. So again, instead of going necessarily from 0 to 60, there is this middle step here. So that is good because I feel like it goes, when the ace comes in, that's the potential of the love relationship and recognizing the spark of attraction, recognizing the spark of catching feelings. And the page is the action behind that. So if you just recognize the potential, or if you feel like you're catching feelings, page is saying you are catching feelings. By then it's already too late. The feelings are already there. So you're going to have to deal with it because now you got feelings for this person or they got feelings for you. And then it moves on to the King. So let's see what we come up with here. Please clarify this King of... The Page of Cups can also be somebody who's kind of a player. So I'm not so much getting that in this sense, but it could be that you might be viewed as kind of a player too, if you're talking to a bunch of different people. But there is, with this Ace of Cups, it is a new beginning, and then the Page of Cups on top of that. I feel like it's a new beginning with a particular person, not necessarily a whole bunch of people. Or if you're single, you're meeting somebody. Somebody's coming in. And like I said, it could be a water sign. Could be an air sign. The Capricorn is there, so it could be Capricorn or Earth, but I think it's more along the lines of just the Capricorn. Let's see. Please clarify this King of Cups for Pisces for August 5th through the 20th, 2017. What is this King of Cups here for? Please clarify this King of Cups here. Well, there we go. Okay, King of Cups is clarified by the Six of Pentacles and the Three of Cups. So there may be a third person involved here. The Six of Pentacles is, like, you can see this person who's up here. These pentacles are coming down to here. It could be somebody who's in a position of, it's almost like a hierarchy. Somebody's higher than somebody else and almost like gracing them with their presence. That's kind of the feeling that I get. So somebody could be feeling like in this situation that either you're deigning to tell them that you love them or deigning to grace them with your love and emotion, or vice versa. You could be feeling like, okay, champ, you know, you're not that wonderful. Yes, I love you, but you're not doing me a favor by having loving feelings for me or anything like that. So there could be kind of that. Also, it could be that if you're dealing with an earth sign too, it could be that there's a lot of investment being made into the relationship here, because this person is investing in this plant down here, hoping that it will grow. And so this is somebody who could be investing more into the relationship, or maybe showing more effort. So it could be one or the other. And I know that those are kind of extremes, but that's what I'm getting out of the Six of Pentacles. Now with the Three of Cups, when the Three of Cups pops up, because the Devil is here, I do feel like there is a concern about a third party. I do feel like it doesn't necessarily mean that there's any cheating going on. But with this Page of Cups here, it's kind of an immature, like I said, player type of energy. And then for this Three of Cups to show up, again, Three of Cups can be going out partying with friends too. So this Devil card can represent two different things to me when it comes to this Three of Cups. I do feel like the Three of Cups is what's clarifying the Devil for sure. This Three of Cups, as far as the Devil card goes, could be going out and partying too much, drinking too much, spending way too much time in the party life type of energy. Or there could be a third person around, and maybe there's a lot of flirtation going on and some secrecy going on too. So this can go either way. And the Three of Cups is a friendship kind of card. Like I said, it could be going out and partying and drinking too much and that sort of behavior. And that would make sense on top of the Devil card, especially with a lot of drinking or especially with a lot of partying or drugs going on. But it can also be to look out for another party. It could be that this new beginning and this Page of Cups and this King of Cups, there could be some manipulative behavior behind it, and maybe there's another person involved or a three-party situation. So look out for that, because that would make sense with this Five of Cups that's following the Devil, and the Devil's clarified by the Three of Cups. I hope that's not the case, but it's possible. Please clarify the Five of Cups for Pisces, August 5th through the 20th, 2017. Please clarify this Five of Cups. Why is this Five of Cups here? Five of Cups clarified by the Five of Cups. Well, that sucks. I mean, it doesn't really suck, to be real. But for some of you, this is going to be some pretty serious disappointment or emotions going on. If there is a third-party situation, you're going to know. You're going to find out. You're going to feel it. There's going to be... Like, I know that readers call it the crying over spilt milk. I definitely don't feel like it's crying over spilt milk. I feel like it's crying over this investment that has been made, where there's been some pretty heavy investing into something, and this disappointment comes to light. Again, it could have to do with either somebody falling back and relapsing into an addiction, or, you know, losing sobriety, or it could have to do with a third-party situation. Maybe they're chatting up with somebody else. Not necessarily that they're cheating per se, like physically, but there could be some cheater-ish behavior or something like that. And that's why this Five of Cups on top of the Five of Cups is definitely a lot of heavy disappointment, disillusionment, total confusion as to what just happened. Please clarify the Nine of Swords for Pisces, August 5th through the 20th, 2017. What is this Nine of Swords about? Yeah. The Nine of Swords is clarified by the Knight of Wands. This is very swift action behavior. This guy is also kind of a player. So it could be you or the other person, but I do feel like there's a little bit of shady, flirtatious behavior going on. Again, it doesn't necessarily have to mean cheating, but this is a very player type energy. There, with the Page here too, it can be an immature energy, and I feel like following after this Five of Cups, somebody's acting like somebody's kind of coming and going as they please, and not, I mean, it's really a whole lot of flaky type of, I feel like somebody's being pretty flaky. Somebody's not very dependable in this situation. And that's why with this Nine of Swords, it's keeping somebody up at night. They're very stressed out about this behavior because there was so much love up here. There's an outpouring of all this emotion up here, and now they're acting like they don't even care. This is almost like, well, you can't even return a text now? Like, why is it so difficult for you? Like, really? I feel like this is kind of an arrogant jerk behavior. And it doesn't necessarily mean that that the person is an arrogant jerk or anything like that, but this is a flaky type of behavior. So you could be dealing with a fire sign. Hopefully this isn't your energy. I mean, I hope neither one of them are your energy, to be honest, but the reading's telling me that it is, so I'm sorry. So I feel like this is a high stress with this Nine of Swords because of somebody acting almost like a player, or they're not very dependable, or they want to be able to come and go as they please without having to answer to anybody, and they're kind of flirting all over the place, and I feel like it's really hurting somebody. There's a lot of disappointment with these double Five of Cups here. Please clarify this Page of Swords card for Pisces for August 5th through the 20th, 2017. What is this? Yeah, Page of Wands on top of the Page of Swords. So I definitely feel like this is... it could be a fire sign, it could be an air sign, like I said, but these two pages, I feel like this is a blow up. I feel like this is kind of, this is a tit for tat energy. Like, if you go from the Page of Swords, who's very, very cutting remarks, to the Page of Wands, who's just fiery and ready to fight. So I feel like this is a whole lot of, it's like a blowout, but it's an immature kind of blowout. It's a fight that's kind of like I said, nobody is rising above the energy. They're just going at it back and forth, and maybe acting like children, it could be really, really petty type of fighting too, because it's backed up by a whole bunch of feelings with all these cups up here. Yeah, there's a lot of feeling going on. So I feel like there's it's fire and air though. Like, what happens to a fire when you blow a bunch of air on it? Well, if it's a candle, like if that's a little fire, then it's going to go out, but if it like disappears. So that could be one option. Or if it's a big fire and there's a lot of fighting and then you throw air on it, it just, it gets huge and blows up even bigger and turns into this big old blowout that it didn't need to be in the first place. So I get the feeling that it could be one of, an energy like that. Or this could be somebody is stating that this behavior is not okay, they're not going to stand for it, they're stating specifically what they want in a very assertive way. And the Page of Wands is kind of a hot temper. They could just be like, it could be a power struggle at this point. It could be a lot of tempers flaring type of a thing. So I feel like there's a whole bunch of the second half of the month. I feel like there's a whole bunch to work through here. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that things are all doom and gloom, but I feel like these energies are definitely energies to look out for, because this disappointment, this emotional disappointment in these Five of Cups feeds into the immature behavior of the pages too. And it could be that there are children involved, and it could be that the issues have to do with the children involved too. Like if somebody has children with an ex, that could have to do with what this third party is, there could be, and it could be that it's not like it may not be specifically a cheating type of behavior, but it could be that your partner's attention or your attention is driven away toward the ex in a situation with children too, and that might cause some fighting. But I definitely get that there is some flirtation, I feel like, outside of the relationship or who you're talking to. There's some jealousy blowing up here, especially with this Page of Wands and the Page of Swords. I really feel like that's somebody going head to head here. So just be on the lookout for it. I do feel like, I don't feel like this is the end of the world necessarily for the relationship, but it is a stressful energy here in the second part. So hopefully the middle of the month will bring a little bit more cups, less swords and fire. But from the looks of it here, you're going to be gearing up for a little bit of a ride. So gear up, Pisces, and be strong through this, and try not to fall into this immature page energy, because I just see that going, like I said, either you're going to blow the fire out and that person has to retreat for a while, or the fire will turn into a volcano, and that's a whole different ball game than you want to be dealing with anyways. I feel like if you can maintain the higher ground, then you might be able to avoid this type of behavior. So I will talk to you in the middle of the month, and I hope it gets better.